Hello traders. I want to share one of the most interesting components of fundamental analysis, which is the PPI. Uh, You have to know that fundamental analysis is one of the complex analysis as ever witnessed under Forex. Okay. Of course, indicators are very, very vital in terms of showing the health of that particular economy. Of course, there are a lot of things that we may talk about here. It can be the consumer price index, okay? It can be unemployment rate, it can be retail sales, it can be non-farm payroll, interest rates. These are one of the key components that shows signs of that particular economy's health status. All right. So now here, if we are able to bring you back to what a PPI mean, okay? So, well, a PPI, it's simply the producer, simply the producer price index, huh? Yeah. So just the producer price index. Okay, it's trying to measure all those the price changes of all the goods and services that were produced. So now here, it's gonna show the price changes in percentage form. Okay. Well, the producer price index is of course it comprises of one of the structures that I'm gonna mention here. In order for it to measure, there are certain things that it looks out for that defines it. All right. So here are some of the things that it actually measures. All right. So here are the components that defines the PPI, the producer price index. Okay. So now here, the producer price index has to measure the percentages and the price changes of these goods and services. So now here, the producer price index, of course, it has to measure what we may call as the personal consumption, okay? The personal consumption, the exports, the government are spending and all that, the transportation as well. So these are some of the things defined in terms of the PPI trying to measure all this. It has to measure the price changes in terms of the personal consumption of the individual in that particular economy. It also has to measure the government spending, how much the government is spending on goods and services. And then after that, it has to also measure in terms of the exports, number of goods and services that have been produced, okay, as well as the goods on transportation and all that. Now, here are some key elements that might interest you in terms of the components of the producer price index. So now here we have the demand for goods and services, which is roughly estimated to account for roughly 30%. Okay, that is just 30%. Let me just I'm gonna change the color here. Okay, so that's just a 33%. And then after that, also have in terms of trade services, okay, the number of goods and services that have been, let's say, exported here. So this producer price index here, as it measures, so we find that the strength of the volume of this strength that is for trade, it's roughly 20%. And then after that, there's also for transportation and warehousing services. So that here, this one, it comprises of 4%. And then after that, finally, we have under 4, the demand for construction, which is roughly 2%. Okay. So the producer price index is to measure now the price changes in terms of the goods and services that were produced. Okay, so that is to mention the final demand of goods and services, which is accounted for 33%. And then the final demand for trade and services, which is 20%. And the final demand for transportation and warehousing services, which is 4%. Finally, the demand for construction, which is roughly 2%. Okay, so these percentages, when combined together, are, are merely what the producer price index is able to measure. Okay, all right. Allow me to show you the charting system. I'm going to show you the charts to show you how these price changes have evolved over the past um, 8 months of 2020. All right. So here we're able to show you the chart. This is the bar graph. It's indicating the past performance of the producer price index, the price changes for the past 8 months of 2020. All right. Now to begin with, we're able to show that this column, it's the percentage. Okay, so here we have the highest, which is 1.5%, 1%, 0.5%, 0%, negative 0.5%, and the negative 1%. Of course, when the number is higher than compared to the lowest number, the higher the number, the bigger the price, the producer price index, and then the lower the number, the smaller the producer price changes in terms of percentages here. So here roughly, we're able to tell like for the month of January here, for the month of January as of 2020, the producer price index was at 0.2% there. And then for the month of February, it stood at 1%. And then later on, it would decline to 0.8%, which is a roughly decline of 0.2%. Okay. And then later on, it was revised further in April 2022 to which surprised the market to as far as 1.4%. And then later on in May, it reduced from a previous 1.4% to 0.5%. Of course, here we're able to show that there was some slowing down in terms of the economy. Okay, perhaps the reduction in terms of the production, or let's say a fall in personal consumption, or a fall in exports, or we don't know really. Okay, and then after that, in June, as of this year, it improved from 0.5 to a stunning 0.8. And then later on in July, the results recorded for producer price index were stood at 1.1%. Of course, there's quite some changes here for the for the 3 consecutive months. There has been some improvement for the USA. And then later on, as of the previous month, which is August here, we're able to show a huge reduction compared to the month of June. Sorry, July here, from 1.1% falling back to negative territory, which is 0.5%. This is a huge reduction. Okay, of course, maybe due to a fall in demand for the final trade, lower let me say lower exports, or fall in personal consumption, because the personal consumption has a huge influence on the producer price index as well. or maybe it's construction. We don't know really. But these things go hand in hand. Whichever one falls, and then it's gonna have an impact on the other. And then later on, the economists have actually forecasted here. Uh, so here I'm gonna name it at FCST to mean the forecast here. So here they've forecasted that for the month of September, it's gonna increase from from negative 0.5 to negative 0.1%. So here I've colored it green to mean that the results gonna be better than the previous ones here. So here we're seeing a slight improvement of a slight reduction of point 4 here. Yeah. So this has been the overall performance of the producer price index for the US's economy. Yeah, so as you can see, this is how it has been performing from January picking up, February, the highest recorded was April. Yeah, and then doing all that, and then later on it's dropped in May, and then improving later to reach as far as 1%, and then later on dropped hugely in August. Yeah, so as in for tomorrow, which is the month of September, in which the producer price index is gonna be released. Usually, for each and every 14th of every month, the results are being published. Yeah, so that's it, guys. So this has been just a simple video. We're trying to share knowledge on the producer price index. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna end it here. Have a good day.